Let's talk about something you do pretty much every single day, buying stuff. From grabbing that morning coffee to your late-night online shopping, there's this hidden world of technology making it all happen. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that world, the point-of-sale ecosystem, which is really the engine that drives all of modern commerce.
I mean, it really feels like magic, doesn't it? You just tap your card or your phone or your watch and boom, the transaction's done. But behind that simple little tap is a seriously complex and honestly a pretty fascinating system at work.
You know, every single one of those transactions, no matter how simple it seems, goes on this little four-step journey. It all starts with accepting the payment, right? Then it moves through processing and clearing, and finally it ends with settlement. That's when the money actually lands in the merchant's account. This four-step dance is the absolute bedrock of all commerce.
So, to help us navigate this whole ecosystem, here's a quick look at our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the basics. Then we'll dive into the two big worlds of POS, take a tour of the different types you'll run into, see how they stack up, figure out how the providers actually make money, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what's next for the future of payments.
Okay, so the very first thing you need to get your head around is that the POS landscape is basically split into two completely distinct worlds. If you can grasp this fundamental division, I promise everything else that follows is going to make a whole lot more sense.
So on one side, you've got your physical POS. Think of that classic card reader you see at the checkout counter. It's all about handling those in-person transactions. Then, on the other side, you have software POS. That's the digital engine running in the background, powering all your online checkouts and in-app purchases. They have the same goal: help merchants get paid, but they go about it in totally different ways. All right, now that we've got that foundational split down, let's go on a little tour and explore all the different species of payment systems that have evolved inside that software world. Each one is basically adapted to a very specific environment. First up, we have what's called digital POS, or DPOS for short. Think of this as the cloud-based command center for any modern business. And because it's all software, it gives you incredible flexibility. It can work anywhere, from a traditional storefront to a pop-up market, all while keeping that sensitive payment data super secure. But here's where DPOS gets really, really smart. Its real power is in its intelligence. See, it's not just about taking payments. It's about giving a business super valuable data on sales trends, like what are your most popular items or when are your busiest hours. Plus, it integrates with things like inventory management and can scale up right alongside a growing business. Next on our tour is mobile POS, or MPOS. This is the tech that turns everyday devices, like a smartphone or a tablet, into a really powerful payment terminal. You've almost certainly seen this at your local coffee shop or maybe a farmer's market. It's usually just a simple little card reader plugged into a phone. Now, the big game changer with MPOS was its accessibility. It just completely lowered the barrier to entry for small businesses that, couldn't afford those big, clunky, traditional terminals. It also makes the customer experience way better by letting staff take payments from anywhere in the store, which means no more standing in long lines. And that brings us to the next evolution, soft POS, or SPOS. This is what you might call the terminal-free revolution. It basically takes that MPOS idea and pushes it one step further by getting rid of the need for any external hardware at all. The magic of SPOS is that it transforms a merchant's own regular NFC-enabled smartphone into the entire payment terminal. The key benefit here? Zero hardware. This gives you the ultimate mobility, perfect for micro merchants or pop-up shops, letting them take cards, digital wallets, and even QR codes using just their phone. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the absolute backbone of e-commerce, virtual POS, or VPOS. This is that secure, web-based gateway that handles all the payments when a customer isn't physically there. So we're talking online shopping, phone orders, or paying an invoice you got in your email. At the end of the day, VPOS is what allows a business to operate on a truly global scale. It integrates easily into existing websites, processes payments in real time, and supports a huge range of payment methods, opening up a business to customers literally all over the world. Okay, so we've met the whole POS family. Now, let's bring them all together and see how they really stack up when you put them side by side. This is the big, practical question that every single business owner has to face. And the right choice? Well, it really depends on their specific needs. Everything from the type of business they run to how they actually interact with their customers. This table here lays out all the trade-offs really clearly. Over on one end, you've got that robust, dedicated terminal of a physical POS, which is perfect for busy in-store retail. And on the complete other end, you have SPOS and VPOS, which need little to no hardware, offering just unbeatable mobility and accessibility for online and on-the-go businesses. It's really a spectrum, from deep integration all the way to ultimate simplicity.
So, we've seen what these systems can do, but what about the companies that provide them, the payment service providers, or PSPs? How do they actually make any money? Let's peel back that curtain and look at their business model.
Well, the core ways they make money are pretty straightforward. First, you've got transaction fees. That's just a tiny percentage of each sale. Then there's subscription fees for having access to the software. And of course, they make money from selling the physical hardware, like the terminals and card readers themselves.
But that's not the whole picture. The most successful PSPs build a much more diversified model. They also bring in revenue from things like software installation and maintenance, value-added services like helping with payment disputes, and from strategic partnerships with banks and card networks. And this shows you that complete picture. It's not just one revenue stream, but this whole web of interconnected ones. From those little transaction fees all the way to big partnerships, each piece supports the others, creating a business that's both resilient and profitable in this really complex world of payments. So, we've covered the what, the how, and the why of the POS ecosystem as it is today. But where is all this going? What does the future hold? Well, it really seems like the focus is shifting away from just the transaction itself and more towards the intelligence that surrounds it.
This quote from Barclays absolutely nails it. The most powerful POS solutions out there are no longer just payment processors. They're becoming intelligence hubs, using data on our spending patterns to improve service, speed up the checkout process, and really drive business growth.
So, as the technology behind every single purchase we make gets smarter, more integrated, and way more personalized, our expectations are naturally going to change. So the final question I'll leave you with is this: what will you start to demand from your checkout experience tomorrow?